I think we should start being meaner to old people. Now, don't throw a wobbly just yet. I don't mean all old people, just the ones that go on Britain's Got Talent. If you're unfamiliar, Britain's Got Talent is a talent competition where people from all over the country compete for the chance to be laughed at by millions of people for being rubbish at their favourite thing. And every year they have a contestant who's an old lady and she's always named Doris for some reason. And this is my favourite part of the show every year, because Britain's Got Talent has turned patronising the elderly into an Olympic sport. I mean, as soon as Doris gets on stage, immediately they do everything they can to lower your expectations of her. They go so far out of their way to make her seem as old and frail as humanly possible, so that we'll jump for joy if she can even manage to knit a Christmas jumper without breaking her hip. And then one of the judges always asks how old she is, but they always hesitate just a little bit so they can seem respectful.
Doris, I hope you don't mind me asking, but would you like a chair to sit in, because you look really old and tired and broken? Are you as old as you look? I mean, we don't normally bother asking a contestant's age because it's not really relevant to anything, but you just look so elderly. We have to know. Well, actually, we have an oxygen tank backstage if you need it, Doris. Does Doris need an oxygen tank?
Does Doris need an oxygen tank? And that's when I have to ask, is that okay now? Asking a lady her age. On national television. I mean, when I was 9 and my neighbour told me I was rude for asking how old she was, I didn't think it was because we didn't have a large enough audience. Imagine if all the rules were like that. It's rude to ask a woman how much she weighs unless it's a part of your wedding toast. No, it's rude to ask a lady her age. I was told that, you were told that, Prince Andrew was told that. It's rude. But they've put her on the spot, so now she has to answer. But she's at that age where she's so old that she only feels comfortable answering the question if she says her age followed by the word young. So they go, how old are you, Doris? And she goes, I'm 177 years young. Because I guess saying the word young instead of old is supposed to send out the message that she's not as old as, the really big number she just said. But I think we all know that the word after the number don't change the number. That'll be like Kevin Hart saying, I'm 5'4" tall, and then expecting to be offered a contract to play in the NBA. It don't work like that. Also, let's be honest, ending your age with the word young actually has the opposite effect. Mainly because we all know that the only people who do that are people who probably took their driving test in a horse-drawn carriage. But here's where it gets really bad. As soon as Doris gives her age, the audience start cheering and throwing confetti like she's just announced that she's been off heroin for 6 weeks. Yay! Hooray! Look how good she is at not dying! Look how still alive she is! It's like, guys, this is Britain's Got Talent. Being not dead ain't a talent, unless you're David Blaine or Steve-O. But here's my real point. All that celebrating because she's 194 years old is fake. You wouldn't do all that clapping and cheering in the street, would you? I mean, if you saw somebody singing a song or tap dancing in the street, people would gather round and clap when they were finished, if they were any good. But nobody's going to stand around and applaud someone for walking 1 mile an hour while carrying a shopping bag with 1 onion inside. Also, they're clapping for this elderly woman and they don't know nothing about her. They don't know her history. She could be the worst kind of scum there is. She could be a convicted murderer, she could be a Nazi or a Twitch streamer. You have no idea what kind of damage she might have done, and yet you give her a round of applause for the spectacular feat of remembering how old she is. Oh, her brain still works. I bet half of them aren't even cheering. They're just talking louder because they think she's deaf. Also, does nobody else find it weird that they always wait for her to say the exact age before they start clapping? Why? You could see she was prehistoric as soon as she walked out. You didn't think she was here auditioning for Love Island, did you? Or did you think that walking frame was just a fashion accessory? Look, I get it. We're celebrating that she's had a long life or that she's getting out of the house or whatever. And I like a good celebration as much as the next fella. But it's all just so forced and unnatural in that show. It's not realistic. Because in the real world, the only time you celebrate somebody being really old is if it's the middle of winter and you've just found out you're in their will. So 250-year-old Doris is on stage. She just finished a "Oh my god, I can't believe she can still do that at her age" performance. They turn off the burlesque music, she's putting her dress back on. The crowd are now giving her a standing ovation. Oh my god, can you believe it? She's even older than she was 5 minutes ago, it's incredible. But none of that even matters, because she always gets the same response from the judges. One of them will say,
"Doris, babe, that was amazing."
And then a second one goes, "Well, I certainly wasn't expecting that." And then one of them always has to jump in and congratulate Doris, but in a way that emphasises just how old she is. "Doris, hun, you just got the golden buzzer, which means you're straight through to the semi-final in 6 weeks. Do you still think you'll be alive in 6 weeks? Or should we start preparing a Doris hologram? A feel-good moment for everyone." So maybe I was being a bit dramatic when I said we should be meaner to old people on Britain's Got Talent. However, we are going to have to stop cheering them eventually, because that's going to seriously backfire one day. Because as time goes on, there are going to be fewer and fewer people willing to be seen as old. So it's only a matter of time until an elderly person goes on Britain's Got Talent and one of the judges smiles and says, "Do you want to tell us how old you are? You old fuck." And then the pensioner's going to reply, "I'm 345 years young." And then the crowd are going to start cheering and singing, "You're so old, you're old enough to be God, yeah." Only this time, Grandma Doris ain't having it. And she's going to start yelling at the audience. "How dare you imply that I'm not as young as all of you? I do hot yoga, I drink green juice. Look at this Botox and filler. My face hasn't moved in 317 years. I'm young, damn it, I'm young." Before she starts mowing people down with her mobility scooter.
Gentlemen.